Welcome to Community Conversations. I'm your host, Ian Parkinson. I'm here today with Frank Devine and Gary Franz from the Monarch Theatre, Monarch 1911, and Gary Franz is with the Friends of the Monarch. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
You've been busy.
We have been busy.
And I gather on May the 12th, you're going to be even busier.
Yes, we are. We will be doing not a grand opening, but a fundraising event to bring people into the Monarch to raise funds to bring it back to the 1941 nostalgia.
Okay, so what kind of entertainment are we looking at?
We have a group coming in through Bill Yule, the Yule Family Foundation. They're from Vancouver. They're a tribute band that do Simon and Garfunkel and a Lennon and McCartney tribute. So in the afternoon, they will be doing Simon and Garfunkel. In the evening, they will be doing Lennon and McCartney.
So we're going to see a lot of 60 and 70-year-olds dancing in the aisles.
That is correct.
So what brought about this Mother's Day, May the 12th celebration? What started it?
Okay, it started off with us approaching the Yule Family Foundation for a donation. And the Yule Family Foundation basically said, we want to see what you guys are doing to earn this and to bring us a business plan of what you need, what you're going to be doing with the theater, and how it's all going to work. That being said, we did. Then they approached us, and this is a group that is actually friends of Bill Yule's.
Okay.
And they approached us to see if we would put on this concert for Mother's Day. That way, the Yule Family Foundation would be able to donate money to the Monarch Theatre because we are now doing the work.
Now, if my memory serves me correctly, the Yule family has been heavily involved in the Monarch for close to a century.
That is correct. Yes, it was owned by Bill's father at one time.
Okay.
Bill personally has never owned it, but they've been involved. As you know, Bill's corporation is a Monarch group for that same reason. So they've been involved in the entertainment business in Medicine Hat since entertainment began in Medicine Hat, with the radio stations, TV stations, and movie theaters.
So May the 12th, Mother's Day, you have the celebration. You have two performances.
Yes, we are having a fundraising celebration with a group out of Vancouver, which will be doing a tribute to Simon and Garfunkel in the afternoon, and then in the evening a tribute to Lennon and McCartney. Tickets for that will be $75 for each show per person, with $40 tax receipt being issued through the Friends of the Monarch as a donation, if so wished.
Okay, and how can they get tickets?
They can get tickets by phoning 403-526-2603.
Okay, and you also have Rotarians selling tickets as well.
We are Rotarians, and Friends of the Monarch will have books of tickets that they will be selling to their friends and cohorts. Yes.
Are they going to be available at the box office?
They will be available at the box office from 9 till 5 o'clock daily, Monday to Friday.
And I believe there's some support from the food business in the region?
Not support, but we're making them aware that this is going on. And if they would like to put on a meal on that Sunday afternoon so people could go to the early show, go for supper, have a drink, and then come back for the late show, then that would be a benefit to every business downtown.
So the Monarch 1911 Society, and then there's also the Friends of the Monarch. What kind of roles do you play between each other?
Right. So the Friends of the Monarch Society actually was established back in 2009 as a support group to look after capital or fundraise for capital expenditures for the Monarch. So it was resurrected just recently here in fall. We started the process of bringing it back, and in this March we would have done the advertising needed to have the membership come to the AGM in March, And in March, we had the AGM and elected a new board, and that got us going to start again to do the fundraising portion of the venture.
So you're the charitable arm of the Monarch.
That's correct. Yes. The Friends of the Monarch have a Canadian revenue designation
Okay.
that can issue charitable receipts to donors that want to donate to the Monarch, like to the building itself, and through Friends of the Monarch.
Okay, now you're all Rotarians, and the Rotarians are obviously heavily involved in the background. But how do the Rotarians tie in with the Monarch 1911 Society?
The Monarch 1911 Society was born out of the Rotarians of Medicine Hat. Not a particular Rotarian club, but Rotarians.
Okay.
Looking for a capital project to raise awareness for Rotarians.
Okay.
And to raise funds to donate back into the community.
So where do the two groups find their volunteers from?
From Rotarians, a lot, and from the general public. There's a lot of people interested in the preservation of the Monarch Theatre. They're more than willing to come and volunteer.
Okay, so if somebody does want to volunteer, who do they call?
They can call, it depends what they want to volunteer for.
Okay.
So if they want to volunteer to help with fundraising events, then they would call Gary. If they want to volunteer to actually working in the Monarch Theatre and cleaning up and vacuuming and mopping the floors, then they could give myself a call at the present time.
Okay.
That being said, the Monarch Theatre is not ready for operation full-time as of right now. We're in the process of renovating.
Right.
We're accommodating people that want to use it, or service groups or other clubs that want to use the theater, but we're not open for day-to-day operation. When we will be open for day-to-day operation, we will be hiring somebody to operate the theater. It won't be volunteer run.
Yeah, you need a professional for that level.
Totally.
For sure.
Yes.
So what other, I'll use the word venues are available besides screening movies?
Okay, well, our fundraiser is a musical tribute. The Air Force did their 100th anniversary on Monday.
Yep.
They had a 5-piece band on the stage.
Good.
Okay. Now, that being said, we are planning to extend the stage, put in a better sound system and a sound system for bands so that we can actually accommodate small groups. It's not going to be big bands, but we want to diversify. Local dance groups that want to use it. Rotary Music Festival, if they would like to use it. We want to be set up to use the venue for all that kind of things.
Is it available for private functions?
Definitely. We've had birthday parties in there
Okay.
already, and all these clubs that are using it are basically, they're private.
Okay.
Harley Davidson is looking at it to do an appreciation. Some of the real estate companies are looking at it for appreciation. The school board is using it for some educational stuff for the teachers.
Wow.
We've had private birthday parties. We want to be set up to do weddings.
I believe you've already had a wedding.
No, we haven't had a wedding there.
Ah.
I've been to weddings there, but we haven't had a wedding yet, but we have had a birthday party there.
Well, she is a very elegant queen.
Yes.
And, I mean, she's now 111,
12.
112 years old.
Yes.
So there's obviously a few creaky bones.
Structurally, the building is a tank,
Okay.
but it does need a lot of updating. It needs a lot of updating as far as paint. Now, our hands are somewhat tied because of the historical
Right.
designation of the building. We have now put a plan together with the historical department, and we needed a historical architect to do this, to make the presentation to the city and to the provincial government. That should be done by the end of this month. So we've been busy getting structural plans for the building, fixing things as we're going along, making sure the building is safe, and it's been a handful.
So the Monarch Theatre has a historical municipal designation.
Yes, it does.
That's quite a lot of paperwork.
That is quite a lot of paperwork. Yes, it is.
So
But that being said, there's a lot of grants available if you get that, but we have to stay inside the rules.
Yes.
So
what would be some of those rules on a high level?
If we want to paint, for instance, we had to go and find the paint colors for 1941. That is the colors that you're allowed to paint the theater. Basically, that kind of thing. There's some Art Deco things above the exit doors.
Yes.
They need restoration, so we have to get a restoration painter to do the restoration on it.
That doesn't come cheap.
It doesn't. Nothing comes cheap anymore.
Yeah.
The front facade, basically, they closed it up in the mid '90s when Mac's Cigar Store moved out of there. We want to bring it back so that it has the appearance that Mac's Cigar Store is there the way it appeared in 1941. So that parapet wall in that front is going to be actually scaffolded off next week, and basically that work is going to start.
Okay, are you going to do this with volunteer labor or contractors?
No, these are contractors, yes.
Okay, I guess given the level of quality and detail, you've got to go with somebody that knows
definitely,
what he's doing.
yes, yeah. Like there's a lot of things that we're doing. There's a lot of volunteers. A lot of people have come to help out in the things that we're doing now. Once we get into the bigger projects, that is going to be contractors. Like the roof is going to have to be a contractor. The bricklaying is going to have to be a contractor. The insulation will be a contractor. So mechanically and electrical, we've actually lucked out electrical. We have Len Knowles, who's worked in the theaters for the past few years, who's there helping us out, trying to figure out what's what.
Well, I would imagine there's probably a few surprises in the walls.
There is a lot of surprises in the walls. Basically, it seems to us, and we've talked about it, that no one's felt ownership of the building. So everything they've done is just to suit what they want to do right now, not thinking about the consequences down the road.
So Luke Fandrick did This Is Your Cinema.
Yes.
It was an excellent documentary. I mean, the detail he went to.
Yes.
But I get the impression that there are still finds in the basement, like interesting historical documents or...
Yes, all the documentation has went through.
Okay.
We've salvaged what we need, and it's actually went to the city archives for them to go through, because we don't want to be throwing anything away that has any historical value. So that's now in the hands of the city. They have it all, and they can go through it and keep what they feel they need to keep and throw away what they don't want to keep. That being said, there's a lot of equipment in the basement from back 100 years of the movie showing business that we would like to set up the basement as a semi-static museum.
Well, I would imagine, because I mean, you're going back to the old 2 cameras with reel-to-reels.
Yes.
Where the operator had to time the switch from one reel to the other, and occasionally something would go wrong and you'd see the screen just melt in front of you.
Yes.
But you don't use that anymore.
We do not use that. We have a up-to-date digital camera projector in there now that we're using, but we do have that equipment in the basement, and in the theater there's one set up. So we'd like to show that stuff. Like we have the old cases of the old carbon rods that they used to burn. We have reels of movie that they used to have. We have an incinerator where they used to have to burn the movie actually after after they showed it, because it was so flammable that you almost couldn't, you had to burn it after you used it, because it was silver nitrate, which turned explosive.
Yes.
Once it was exposed to the air.
So where was the incinerator?
The incinerator is in the boiler room in the back of the basement in a concrete vault, basically.
Wow. So where are the Friends of the Monarch? Where are you going next? What's your... Obviously, May the 12th and some of the refurbishments, but what other...
Well, I think it's interesting if we just pick up a little bit on what you just were talking about as far as the current movie projector. That was actually put in place, I believe, in 2013 by the Friends of the Monarch. They fundraised for that, along with the screen. They put a new screen in back then, and all the air conditioning, all the ductwork, and all that was all modernized all through that type of work. So when I think where we're going, when we're talking about those capital projects that we were talking about doing the front facade and those bigger projects, and that's where Friends comes in, because we fundraise for those type of bigger projects that volunteers can't do. So that's where these funds will be spent. It'll be spent on that front facade. It'll be spent on the interior upgrade and the new sound system and for both the concerts and then again for the movie experience will be updated to today's standards enjoyment for the people coming.
I seem to recall on your list there's something to do with the acoustical tiles, because the acoustics in that building are actually very good.
Yes, they are very good.
But I imagine
and we found that out on Monday when we had a band in there. The sound was amazing. So those acoustic tiles will all be staying there. Plus they're all fire rated, which you had to do in a theater. But we're going to paint it and bring it back to, like for instance, in 1940s and 50s, there was Art Deco lines on the ceiling with circles on it and stuff. We're going to actually put that stuff back. We're going to make it look like it looked in 1941. And that is the plan. So
well, I look forward to it. I'll be honest. Yes. I have to be impressed. I mean, within 2 days of the city council approving the sale to the Monarch 19 Society, you had a dumpster outside.
Yes.
And I remember you with a big, huge grin by the dumpster, and the dumpster's full. And I remember thinking at that time, these guys know what they're doing, and this is going to happen. With a great deal of community support, obviously.
Yes, and it's one thing to talk about doing things. It's another thing to do it. Rotarians are a group of doers.
Who are the Rotarians?
We are a diverse bunch of people in Medicine Hat and the world. So local business people, local artists, local politicians, local everythings. So you're in your own group. Rotarians is basically service above self.
Right.
So it can be anyone.
And then being an organization of business people, they're used to getting things done.
They're used to getting things done, and we have a diverse group of people that understand different aspects of business.
Yeah.
So
I can remember the Rotarian sign. It used to be in the Medicine Hat Lodge on the bottom of Dunmore.
At the Medicine Hat Lodge? No,
yeah,
that's a lunchtime. The Medicine Hat Club meets in the basement of the Medicine Hat Lodge.
Okay.
So
but there's more than one Medicine Hat Rotarian.
There's 3 clubs in Medicine Hat.
Oh.
Yes. So there's the Sunrise Club, there's the Medicine Hat Club, and there's the Samus Club.
Sunrise?
Yes.
Why Sunrise?
They meet in the morning. Medicine Hat meets at lunchtime. Samus meets at supper time.
Whoa, very well done.
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to share about the Monarch, Friends of the Monarch?
I think people should be excited and be looking forward to what's going to happen over the course of the next year or two. This is a beautiful building. It's a historic building, and we're going to bring it back, and it's going to be a great venue for the public of Medicine Hat to utilize.
Okay, and May the 12th, Mother's Day?
Yes.
Simon and Garfunkel.
Simon and Garfunkel, Lennon and McCartney. What a way to celebrate the mother of your children.
Oh, your grandma.
That being said, we're also going to be sending out a flyer to all the restaurants downtown to let them know that we're doing this. Because if we sell out, there are 800 people, 400 at each show. If the local restaurants want to do something, we would advertise on our webpage that there's a possibility of them going in between the shows. If you want to take in both, go for supper, have a drink, come back for the second show.
Wow, because that's what I'm thinking. Is like I can take the boss for 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
3 o'clock we'll go have a early supper, have a drink, go and watch the second show, and then go home.
That's right. And tickets for that are $75 with a $40 tax credit.
75 each or for
75 both? Each. Yes.
So really 70 for both after the tax.
That's correct.
Receipt.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much for coming in, gentlemen. This was a pleasure.
You're very welcome. Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
This is another Community Conversations with Friends of the Monarch and the Monarch 1911 Society. I'm Ian Parkinson. Thank you for watching.